The following podcast contains adult language and themes, so don't say we didn't fucking warn you.
You're listening to SarahTalk. It's political.
If you really give a fuck about the life of the unborn, you'd better be prepared to help fund WIC and food stamps and welfare, because you don't get to say, I care about that life until it's born, and then turn around and say, well, you shouldn't have had sex if you couldn't care for this child. You should have gotten a better education. You need to work harder. Maybe you should take a second job. It's not my responsibility.
Critical.
When was the last time a Christian was allowed to have a separate place to say their prayers? Look, you can literally bow your head at your fucking desk. You're like, why did he get the thing and I didn't get the thing? You didn't ask for the thing!
And positively LGBT positive.
Look, whenever there's someone coming after my community, they are either wearing a MAGA hat, carrying a Bible, or more often both.
Oh, and occasionally completely absurd.
What the hell is in Idaho?
Potatoes.
Anyway? You could take a drill a
Drill
hole
up
in
a
a
potato
potato and fuck a potato.
fine.
Would you marry a potato though? Could that be okay?
No, but you wouldn't have to marry a potato because a potato doesn't need consent for you to fuck it.
And now, from Haines City, Florida, your host, Sarah Austin.
Hey everybody, welcome to SarahTalk. Glad you're here. You're lucky we are.
Totally lucky. Oh my god, what a day.
Yeah.
Dan, we have an alarm set too. He says he's still not used to Friday, so he has an alarm set.
We were totally laying down.
We were in bed.
We
were ready to go to sleep.
Yeah.
Baby went to bed easy.
I think I went to sleep.
You did. Oh, you were snoring for a while. Yeah, you were. I got up and put the little one to bed, and then I came back to bed.
But look, like, this is my Friday.
Mm-hmm.
Well, no, sorry.
This is
my
your Saturday.
Tomorrow I go back to work. Tomorrow night. So my schedule, my body is all, I don't know when to sleep. I don't know when to be awake. And so I wake up at like 4:30 in the morning and can't get back to sleep. And so I lay there for a couple hours and toss and turn. And I'm finally like, fuck it, I'm going to get up and do some dishes or something. So I did. And then 3:30 rolls around and I'm just like, I'm ready to go back to bed.
Well, you also had to get up and mow the lawn. We had to clean the garage in preparation for this storm so that we can get both vehicles in there.
Mm-hmm.
So it's on top of it being a weekend turnaround where your body's all out of whack. You're on double duty.
Let me see if I can. Add that to the thing. You talk.
What are you adding to the thing?
I'm gonna
double duty.
I'm gonna try to add a. That's not what I wanted to do.
So what did we do today? We got up, had to get the one kid off on the bus to school. Then I had to go to Walmart. Oh my God. There's like no water, no bread, no nothing left in Walmart. Good thing I wasn't going for those things because I'm semi-prepared for that stuff. What I didn't have was snacks, so I had to go buy whatever I could find.
She came home with so many fucking snacks.
Oh my God, Russell's here. Like,
he must
on
have set
time.
an alarm too.
Hey, Russ. Yeah, I did. I got a big, huge thing of cheese balls. I got Danishes. I got zebra cakes. I got beef jerky. I got chips. I got fruit snacks. I got applesauce. I got. When you have kids and you're going to be stuck inside for an extended amount of days, you need plenty of food.
You know, I was gonna do that, and then I'm thinking better of it now.
What are you doing?
Well,
God.
I was gonna put the map up. But,
oh yeah.
But that's not a yeah.
Let's not do that.
So anyway, there's a hurricane coming.
Oh my gosh! Wait, hold on. In chat, it says Russell, and it says 2 anniversary follower. Yes, Dan, I did get pickles. I didn't know that was a thing. So he's been following us for 2 years now?
Hold on. Mine doesn't say that. Mine doesn't say anything, to be quite fair.
I don't know.
Yeah, no, mine doesn't say anything like that.
It's interesting. I'm getting sick on top of all of it. So if I'm sniffling and sneezing and blowing my nose, suck it up. I'm sorry.
No, that's literally what you're doing. Sucking it up. Oh my God, stop.
I'm sorry. Oh, yes. Yes, we can say fuck Dorian.
Yeah.
Keith and or Rachel are here.
Awesome.
So, yeah. I bought all the snacks that there was to buy. And then
all the pickles.
I had to go to the school, even though I wasn't going to go to the school. Little one had a couple of potty accidents, and then I ended up just taking the kids home early. Because they already called it for our county that no school after today until, Thursday, supposedly, if everything.
Yeah, because Monday was already
Monday was already no holiday, so they called no school for Tuesday and Wednesday. I was surprised they did both days in one shot.
Yeah, I'm surprised.
I thought they'd call Tuesday and then call Wednesday later if they had to, but they were...
Hey, whatever. Especially with the way the storm has been tracking. So, originally, we were expecting this to impact us like now, this weekend. And then it keeps getting pushed later and later, and now they've moved it. I haven't looked since I didn't look at the 5 o'clock track, but they pushed it a little further south, the last one that I saw, and then it's not getting to us until Tuesday into Wednesday. So I don't know if that's changed. I'm going to look but they keep pushing it back. So it surprised me that they would change that for, like, that they would go ahead and decide the schools knowing that so many things could still change.
Yeah, I don't know. In the meantime, I guess Russell's going to have to call me. He says his vacation approval has been overturned.
Oh.
If that's due to Dorian, that's some bullshit. And I would be, like, up in HR. Like, what are you talking about? Like, you plan for a vacation, you get it approved, then you make your plans, and now they're going to tell you less than a week out. Oh, sorry.
Just kidding.
Never mind, you can't go.
Right? That's some shit. All right, so let's see. Looking at the weather here. Oh, this is the show, by the way. This is all we have planned. I don't have
sorry,
any notes.
Guys.
I don't have anything.
We're winging it. We're just spending time with you.
Ready to go.
I don't have no idea what that means, Ross. Just send me a private message.
Oh my God. Yes, please don't communicate on the air. Have a conversation.
Oh, emergency.
Have a one-sided conversation on the
Emergency
air.
red alert, he says.
Oh,
okay,
Jesus
so
Christ.
I don't know what that means when you work for Publix. I mean, if you're working for the hospital. Whatever. Anyway, people that have to work through the hurricane is a very sore subject for me right now, so let's just not go there.
So now they have it cutting north a whole lot sooner.
Oh.
And going up the coast instead of down through the middle of the state.
Oh. I mean, that might be better. We're still on the... I say all the time, we're still on the nasty side of the storm because it's curving before it gets to us. And it's going either right over us or over the top. You get the bottom west side of the storm and you're in a shit show.
Yeah. Anyway, and it'll change 20 more times before it ever gets here. So who knows? But we canceled everything on our calendar out of an abundance of caution because we didn't know what was going to be happening. I mean, so today I mowed the yard and I tried to weed eat, but the weed eater is a piece of shit and I need 4 batteries to make it through the yard.
Well, we have a big yard too, so that doesn't help.
So I still didn't get all that done. And then we had to play Tetris in the garage, moving stuff around.
Oh my God, and it was
to get your van in.
8 billion degrees and high humidity.
Yep.
So it was awful. I broke a sweat 17 times today.
So I still have yet to walk around the yard and pick all the stuff up.
Yeah.
Which is kind of a last minute thing. But
might be a good project for the kids in the morning.
What I haven't decided still, because I keep putting it off, because the thing keeps changing, is whether we need to board up or not. And I really do not want to have to hang plywood on
Boarding
the
up
windows.
sucks.
Man. It's the worst. I am seriously contemplating paying somebody to come out here and put up shutter the rails that you just snap.
Right. Well, it's a little late to do that unless you want to get gouged.
Not for this. Jesus Christ.
I know. I'm just kidding.
You You're a mess.
Oh, I don't think they'd come out in such short notice.
Oh, I don't know.
Without charging you,
I was
like,
gonna say,
you'd have to give up
get paid.
your firstborn. Although that doesn't sound too, no.
You're terrible.
I was kidding, and everybody knows it.
Oh, I can't reach it.
What are you gonna do?
I was gonna play with Jesus.
Okay. Well, you heard it here.
So that's it. We're on hurricane watch.
If anybody knows of any good shutter companies that are decent and reliable and reputable and whatever, let me know. I'm going to be shopping after this is all over because we're not doing this again. I'm going to be able to push a button and it just go.
Okay, we're not going to go that crazy.
Why?
Because we ain't got that kind of money. Patreon.com/SarahTalk. If you want to,
I guess you could write half
Becca's
of it off
hopes
as
and dreams.
studio expenses. We do have a window in here that if
Write
it
it
gets
off of
shattered,
what?
all of our. Well, I mean.
Who can itemize anymore? Nobody.
Oh, gosh, you know what I meant. I didn't mean literally write it off. I'm just saying.
Okay.
We do have a window in this studio that if it gets busted open in a hurricane, our equipment is destroyed.
That's true.
So there's that.
When we were first started talking about boarding up, I think you said something about, well, we at least need to do
The studio.
studio window.
Well, that's because I'm thinking about all this equipment in here and how fucked up it will be if it gets wet.
Yeah, that'd be real bad.
I'm just looking out for you. That's all. I mean, the only other thing we have in this house of any real value other than lives is like the TV in the living room, like, and the kids' Xbox. Like everything else, if it, it's like nothing is really gonna get damaged if it gets wet.
Right.
If you don't, unless you let it mold, obviously, but.
We're just hoping that this thing swings out away or landfalls far enough south that it breaks down a little bit and isn't a Category 4 when it hits us. That's what it boils down to.
I was saying all along it needs to hit Mar-a-Lago head on, or it needs to go all the way up the coast and then make a hard left turn right into D.C. Because Trump and all his stupid comments about, of course it's going to go to Puerto Rico again and blah, blah, blah. We've given them all this money already, and just being a literal douchebag.
Right.
So, I don't know. I mean, obviously we hope it doesn't affect anybody, but
right.
If it's got to touch land,
and like
I've got my top 5.
We got family all up and down the state. Like
everywhere. I mean, I've got family south, north, west, east, everywhere. I've got family in Carolina. I'm just like, oh, anywhere it goes, it's just not going to be good.
Yep. So I only have a couple of news stories to talk about. We're going to try to keep this short so we can get back to bed.
Victoria says anniversary follower too.
That's so crazy. Mine doesn't say that. Probably because I'm logged in as the show. But that should show me before anybody else.
I'm sorry.
Don't you think?
How gross would it be if I shove this tissue
Please
up my
don't
nose
do
so
that
it doesn't drip? It's dripping.
Please
it's
don't
annoying.
do that. You should have called in sick, maybe.
That's an option?
No.
Why would you even suggest that, you whore?
Okay, so anyway. The first story that I have, and I'm totally reading from I didn't print anything out because I was busy all day. I didn't have time to do anything. What may be the first space crime has been committed.
I saw this. It's so bizarre.
Lesbian American astronaut Anne McClain has been accused of committing the first ever recorded space crime after she allegedly accessed the bank account of her estranged spouse, Summer Warden, from the International Space Station. What? So the two, according to the New York Times, the two have been involved in a bitter separation and parenting dispute for much of the past year. After discovering that McClain had accessed Warden's account from a NASA computer terminal, Warden filed a complaint with the FTC and NASA's Office of Inspector General. She has accused McLean of identity theft and improper access to private financial records. But McLean admits to accessing the account from the ISS, but she denies any wrongdoing. I guess basically that she still had an active login that she, like a password that didn't get changed or something that she could use.
Loophole.
And, right. She didn't take any money. It's not like she, did a criminal thing. She was just looking to see, do you have enough money in this account to
Curiosity.
take care of the kids or whatever.
Right. That's funny. What are you looking at?
Is that blurry?
Oh.
Yeah.
There you go.
There we go.
We're back.
So stupid. Yeah. Space crime. Now we just need the Space Force to
Oh
go
my
out
God.
to go out and enforce
Shut your
the
pie
space
hole.
laws.
No, we do not need a space force.
No.
Thank you, Victoria. Victoria says, I hope you are both safe, almost as much as I hope this is the storm that wipes Mar-a-Lago off the map. And there's John. Hey, John.
John.
John got a puppy. Did you see that? He's fostering a puppy.
I did see
He's
that.
so cute. I love it.
Yes.
Congratulations on your new family member.
Would you like another one?
No,
Sorry.
Our
Our
puppy
puppy's
is going to be a year old tomorrow.
Uh-huh.
She's going to be 1.
When's she gonna not be such a pain in the ass?
I don't know. Probably never. Like our children.
Right.
I think the children might grow out of it sooner than the puppy. She's down there growling at something. I don't know.
She growling or tearing stuff up?
No, she's chewing on the seat of the chair.
For fuck's sake.
It's the crappy chair. Don't worry about it.
Okay.
The leg. The little.
Yeah.
It's plastic.
And then we have some political stuff to talk about. So there are only 10 Democrats who qualified to move on
Only
to
10.
the next. Well, that's poor phrasing. Who qualified to appear in the next debate?
Oh, okay.
Right. So the others, it's not that they're, sorry, you don't get to move forward.
They just
don't get.
we don't care what you have to say.
They just don't get the free publicity of being on the next debate.
That's good though. I mean,
It needs to start
it
weeding out.
really needs to. We are way too far into 2019 to have this many people fighting over it.
So, you saw Senator Kirsten Gillibrand announce she was dropping out of the race, right?
I did not.
She's
Did
out.
I? Maybe I did.
I don't know. She's
I
out.
might have. Do I remember? Not really.
I don't know.
You know.
Did you even know she was running?
Yes,
No,
I did.
it's a
Actually,
joke.
that's one that I named last week
I
when
know.
you were telling
know.
me to name 10 or whatever.
So that's she dropped out. So then the ones that will appear at the next debate, or who qualified for the next debate, Joe Biden, Cory Booker, Pete Buttigieg, Julian Castro, Kamala Harris, Amy Klobuchar, Beto, Bernie, Liz, and Andrew Yang.
I love how Beto,
It goes to single
Bernie,
names.
and Liz are single names. That's it. That's okay.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
And again, let me say, if any of these people become the Democratic nominee, I will vote for them. I posted something on the Facebook.
Hold on. No, look this way.
I got a her hanging.
It's like.
Oh my God, you're driving me crazy. I posted something on the Facebook about there was a new poll that came out that finally showed reality. It was showing sort of Biden, Sanders, and Warren sort of tied neck and neck for first place in the polls. And I think I shared that with oh, finally reality. Like the polls are catching up to reality. And somebody commented and said, well, right, but I think it might have been Dave. Shit, I don't know who it was. Joseph. I think it was Joseph. Anyway, irrelevant. That, fine, but like, depending on whatever combination it is, like, how are you, will you vote? And my response was the same response that I've given on every episode of this show since I think we started talking about it, which is if that old McDonald's French fry that you dropped on the floorboard of your 2003 Corolla
showed up with
in
2020 campaign
2004
sign.
that's still on the it's been on the floor since
Gross.
2004.
And if it's a McDonald's fry, it'll still look
right, but
really
looks
good.
like it just came out of the box. If that French fry becomes the Democratic nominee, I'll vote for it.
Isn't it sad though?
That doesn't have rum in it.
Oh no, isn't it sad though that that's our reality right now?
Uh-huh.
Like that what we have is so horrible.
Yep.
That the gum on the bottom of my shoe would make a better I just don't. How did we get here?
We don't have time to talk about that. That's a long story.
It hurts.
Gizmo 2020.
Yeah.
I like that idea.
Although I don't know because I think the State of the Union address would give me a headache.
Yeah, that's true. No, that would be cute if she barked like that.
Well, I wasn't going to do what she actually does into the microphone, but anybody who's heard a Chihuahua,
yeah, we got
I got
duped on
fucked
that
over
whole
on that.
thing.
I still can't believe that stupid shit.
I can. Okay. The next and final story, I guess, that I have.
It's so sad.
Well, whatever. We weren't going to spend a whole lot of time at this. Unless you want to plug the phone back in again, we can do that.
Yeah, we got enough people listening, maybe. If you want to call, hit me in chat first.
Yeah, there you go. So there is another person running for the presidency. Former GOP Representative Joe Walsh, Republican from Illinois, announced that he's going to run for president. He has been one of the most vocal conservatives when it comes to criticizing the president. Here's what he had to say on ABC's This Week with George Stephanopoulos.
Did you say on the ABCs?
No.
Oh, okay. Sounded like it.
Oh, damn. Now I have to start it over because you got me all distracted.
I am so sorry that I distracted you.
I alone can fix it. That signature line from 2016 pretty much sums up Donald Trump's approach to the presidency. And this week he pushed it about as far as it can go. With a dizzying series of impulsive moves on everything from buying Greenland to background checks on guns. Tax cuts on and off the table, then back on again. Attacks on China and the Fed that sent the stock market into a tailspin and threatened the strong economy that's been his best selling point for re-election. And as we come on the air this morning, a new political threat, a potential challenge from one of his own, conservative firebrand Joe Walsh, a Tea Party congressman, now a talk radio host, and no stranger to controversy and incendiary rhetoric. Once a staunch defender of President Trump, he appeared on CNN this week and said this.
If Republicans, John, stay silent in the face of this guy, I don't think the country will ever forgive the Republican Party, but forget about the Republican Party. If this guy gets 4 more years, we're in real trouble.
And Joe Walsh joins us now. Good morning.
I think we all agree with that.
I think so.
And I'm going to repeat this over and over again, but how long have I been saying that more and more Republicans need to be standing up and saying, hey, this isn't the Republican Party that I signed up for, and it needs
I think
to
they're
stop.
going to have to, because I think that while there is a huge base of Republican voters that believe that Donald Trump is the chosen one,
right,
for whatever delusional, I don't even know how you, I don't understand how you come to that conclusion.
Mm-hmm.
But there are just as many people that are like, oh my God, what have we done? What have we done?
Yeah.
But if
I don't know about that.
if the party has enough people come forward in those seats that can come out and say no, then those people, the voters that are like, they're gonna find some kind of confidence to say, yeah, that guy's right.
Yeah.
Like I don't know.
Well, and remember, there's a lot of authoritarianism involved in the way a lot of those folks vote and stuff. So there will have to be some way to convince them that, this is your guy, not the other guy.
Right.
Like, and how do you do that?
George, good to be with you.
Have you reached a decision?
Yes, and it's great to be with you. I'm going to run for president, and I'm happy to be on your show announcing my candidacy. George, no surprise, we've got a guy in the White House who's unfit, completely unfit, to be president. And it stuns me that nobody stepped up. Nobody in the Republican Party stepped up, because I'll tell you what, George, everybody believes in the Republican Party. Everybody believes that he's unfit. He lies every time he opens his mouth.
You say that. You say.
Yeah, then there was one guy running, but nobody knows who he is. And I don't know that everyone says he's unfit. Like, are you privy to some
secret club,
secret Republican Facebook chat?
Right. Is there a group messenger between all the
where you're all talking about how unfit he is? Because I don't get it. I don't see that.
Unfit, but one of the things the White House points to, and the president points to often, is just about every poll shows more than 80% support for the president among Republicans.
They don't have an alternative. I'll tell you what, George, and look, I'm running because he's unfit. Somebody needs to step up, and there needs to be an alternative. The country is sick of this guy's tantrum. He's a child. Again, the litany, he lies every time he opens his mouth. Look at what's happened this week. The president of the United States is tweeting us into a recession. I can tell you, George, that most of my former colleagues up on the Hill, they agree privately with everything I'm saying.
But then how do you
publicly.
explain why they
Because
stand
they're
behind
afraid.
him so strong?
Because they're scared to death. Look, George, this isn't easy to do. I just sat down with you and said, I'm going to run for president. I'm going to challenge this guy. I'm opening up my life to tweets and attacks. Everything I've said and tweeted now, Trump's going to go after, and his bullies are going to go after.
You ready for it?
Yes, I'm ready for it. Republicans are scared to death of that. Here's what I think most of my former colleagues believe. They think Trump's going to lose in November, and they want him to lose in November. And then they think they're done with him and everything can go back to normal.
Then they lose the courts, they lose the Supreme Court, they lose the next vacancy, they lose taxes. That's the argument the president's been making.
They want Trump gone. They're just afraid to say that he's...
Who are these people, and can they please come out of the closet?
Right.
You'll be welcomed out here, trust me.
Join the party.
Because if elected Republicans feel this way in any number that translates to the populace,
right,
then you should be safe to come out and talk about this stuff.
Gizmo has a lot to say on the subject, apparently.
Look at this week. If you privately polled every Republican member of Congress, the President of the United States ordered private companies to not do business with China. The President of the United States said our Fed chair is as big of an enemy as China. Most Republican voters are tired of the drama. They're tired of his BS. George, I believe this. Look,
you're on talk radio every day. You're on in the afternoon in Chicago. When you speak like this, what do you hear from your listeners? Support, correct?
I hear support for the president. It's difficult to be a critic of the president's in conservative talk radio. But I hear real ambivalence as well. And I hear often, George, what you just said at the beginning. I don't like him, and I wish he wouldn't tweet, and I wish he would keep his mouth quiet, but we're getting some good things done. But really, what are we getting done? And when I point out to those people who listen to me on conservative talk radio that we haven't built 1 foot of a wall, that this president who said, I'm going to eliminate the debt in 8 years, has increased the debt at a faster clip than Obama. But, George, this is not about issues. I would not be even thinking about primarying this president if I was upset with his position on the debt or the deficit.
There actually is another challenger to President Trump, as you know, from inside the party, William Weld. And he had a tweet this week where he said this. He said, Donald Trump is a clear and present danger to our country, to the globe, and to himself. And this is what got everybody's attention. Hashtag America deserves better. Hashtag 25th Amendment.
Okay, now before we get into that, he was on the road to a good point there.
Yeah, he was.
I thought before George sort of derailed him.
I hate it when they do that too. It's like,
yeah.
Seriously, let him finish.
Yep. So I think if I remember right, he gets back on message eventually that like, and as painful as it is to hear someone say like, hey, listen, this is not about policy. I'm fine with his policies.
Yeah.
What?
Right. Yeah.
Ugh. Okay. And if that's what you got to do to, if are you billing yourself as Trump without the crazy?
Yeah, that's exactly what it is.
Right.
Because that's how you're going to get the vote. If you beat him out in the primary, that's how you're going to keep the Republican vote in the general.
Uh-huh.
For all of those voters that are like, you know.
I'm pretty sure they talk about this at the end, so we won't get into it. But I'll make a note just in case. Typically, when the incumbent has a primary challenger, that is a slam dunk for the opposing party. Cross my fingers and hope.
Being unfit. Should the 25th Amendment be invoked?
It should be looked at. George, we've never had a situation like this. You can't believe a word he says. And again, I don't care your politics. That should concern you. He's nuts. He's erratic. He's cruel. He stokes bigotry. He's incompetent. He doesn't know what he's doing. George, he's a narcissist. Everything he cares about, the only thing he cares about is Trump. He doesn't give a damn about America. He doesn't care about the border. You and I talked before I came on air. He lost me for certain at Helsinki. When the president,
conference with Putin.
Yeah, when the president of the United States stood in front of the world and said, I stand with that guy and not my own people, that's disloyal. That's un-American. His supporters, I think, are tired of this. Our campaign slogan, George, is be brave. Be brave. This is not a difficult thing for me to do. I'm opening up my life. But the bet that my campaign is making, and I'm going to pound Trump every single day. He's a bully and he's a coward, and somebody has to call him out. And I cannot believe nobody in our party's calling him out. But the bet, George, of my campaign is that there are a lot of Republicans who feel like I do. They're afraid to come forward.
You said you want to make the case against the president. The question is, are you the best messenger? You said you want to make a moral case against the president. Here's what the Washington Examiner, conservative newspaper.
The only I have looked at some of this guy's Twitter activity, and there's some problematic things there. But if he's to be the messenger, to use George's words, and I said this when I posted it on SarahTalk Facebook page. I can't stand when someone uses my name over and over and over and over again in a conversation like that. Got it, you know my name. Look, George, this is what's going on with the thing, George. George, you've got to hear me. This is so important. Donald Trump's nuts, George. Like, I hate that. It drives me nuts. And now you won't be able to listen to the rest of this clip without hearing it.
I know what it is, though.
But it drives me nuts.
You want to know why?
Are you going to tell me it's my Disney training?
No.
Oh, okay.
Why he does that.
Oh.
I'm going to tell you why he does that. It's, we learned this
it's a psychological
in
thing.
Customer service. Use their name because it creates, and they pay more attention when you're using.
Yeah, no, I
So
I
it's
know.
his salesman thing, and he's probably done it for years because
Probably.
he picked it up in some collegiate class that he took while he was, I don't know.
Right.
But there's a reason for that.
No, I know, and that's
but people have tics. Like we had this doctor who would always say, that being said, and but I don't think this is a tick. I think this is just something that he has developed on purpose.
Well, that's why I thought you were going to go to the Disney thing, because we learned that when I was in resorts. That was a front desk thing. You had to say the guest's name 3 times in every conversation.
Yeah.
And I thought it was stupid then, and I can't stand it when I watch it on somebody else doing it on fucking TV.
Yeah.
Response to your potential candidacy this week. There's the matter of his history of being Trumpier than Trump. He's made a living on peddling the same sort of demagoguery, conspiracy mongering, and right-wing bomb throwing for which he now condemns the president. Your response?
I helped.
Now that I could, so that's what I'm talking about. Some of the stuff that he's, when you go back and look at his Twitter feed, that's just like, oh God, you're just so toxic and problematic.
Trump. And George, that's not an easy thing to say. Look, we were divided before Trump. I went to Washington 8 years ago. The part of the Tea Party class wanted to shake Washington up. I got involved in the battles, and there were plenty of times where I went beyond the policy and the idea differences, and I got personal, and I got hateful. I said some ugly things about President Obama that I regret, and it's difficult, but I think that helped create Trump. And I feel responsible for that.
You did provide aid and comfort for the kinds of things he was saying. You mentioned Obama. You called President Obama Muslim, an enemy, a traitor, and you often spoke out on racial themes. I want to show a couple of tweets that you had right there. Number one, we lowered the bar for Obama. He was held to a lower standard because he was black. That was just in 2017. And then a few months after that, not just President Obama, Senator Kamala Harris said something really dumb. Meh. If you're black and a woman, you can say dumb things. Lowered the bar. That is kind of textbook racism and sexism.
Well,
actually, here we go. Old white dude gonna actually us. Here we go. Mansplain it away, Joe.
The beauty of what President Trump has done is, George, he's made me reflect on some of the things I've said in the past. I had strong policy disagreements with Barack Obama, and too often I let those policy disagreements get personal.
Did you really believe he's a Muslim?
God, no, and I've apologized for that. And that's not an easy thing to do, not at all. But think about the contrast, George. Again, I'm burying my soul with you right now on national TV. We have a guy in the White House who's never apologized for anything he's done or said. I think it's a weakness not to apologize. I helped create Trump. There's no doubt about that. The personal, ugly politics. I regret that, and I'm sorry for that. And now we've got a guy in the White House, George. That's all he does. Understand, I walk around with this piece of paper every day, George. It's got all of Trump's lies on one side, mostly updated, and then everything that he does that's wrong. I feel responsible for this, but I'm a conservative, and I think there's a decent chance to present to Republican voters a conservative.
How genuine did that feel to you?
I don't know, because this is the first time I've ever seen this guy talk.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it definitely felt more genuine than anything Trump has ever said.
Right.
But, you know, I'm not about to make a character judgment on somebody who I've never heard of this guy before today.
Right. But that's what he's hoping for.
Right.
He's hoping that people are watching this who may have even seen him before or may not.
Right.
That he can, win over.
Well, but that's the goal. He's trying to win the nomination for the Republican candidate for 2020. So, yeah, he's going to do and say anything he has to. I mean, does he really feel that way?
Victoria says, I will give him this much credit. He's willing to say I was wrong. It's a start, not anything else, but a start.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just, Those tweets are 2 years old. They're from after Trump took office.
Uh-huh.
So
How do we know that you're genuinely
like
are you apologizing or speaking the way you are because you are now running for the office of the president?
Yeah.
Would you have gone on a, oh man, I'm really fucked up tour?
Well, and you know,
Otherwise.
when they go and decide to do these things, they get a campaign advisor and they sit down with them and say, we
Yeah,
got
they
to dig
scrub through
your
everything.
past
Yep.
and we got to come up with an apology for any.
Sure.
So, is this rehearsed? Absolutely. Is it genuine? I don't know.
Yeah.
Conservative case. Set aside the personal differences you have with President Trump. What is the conservative case for why President Trump should be replaced?
He's incompetent. He has no freaking clue what he's doing. He said he was going to build a wall, George. We haven't built a foot of the wall. He said Mexico was going to pay for it. We haven't. He told us trade wars were easy. Tell that to American farmers right now. Tell that to American consumers. President Trump said, I will eliminate the debt in 8 years. He's increased it faster than Barack Obama did.
With the help of a Republican Senate.
Exactly.
And a Republican House.
Yeah, God, it's almost like Republicans drive up the debt.
Whoa.
What? Hold on.
No.
That goes against everything we've ever been brainwashed to think.
Dan says there's no way all of Trump's lies fit on one side of an envelope without being in microscopic
Maybe
print.
It's for the day. Maybe it's just those today.
Well, he said it's updated or whatever. Like, so maybe
this guy spend all his time like feverishly updating his little note card.
I created a monster. Now I need to rectify
done?
what I've done. And he's obsessed.
Oh, God.
And Democrats, neither one give a damn about the debt and the deficits, but this is on Trump. He said, I'll eliminate the debt. He hasn't governed as a conservative. He's not competent. He doesn't know what he's doing. But, George, the bigger case is this. He's not capable of being decent. He's cruel. He's bigoted. And he's a narcissist. Everything is about him.
So when you talk to your listeners on radio and you talk in these personal terms about President Trump, do they excuse it? Do they argue with you? Do they say it doesn't matter?
They say, but Joe, the Democrats are socialist.
Scary.
I don't know what's
That's
more annoying.
That's the first thing he went with. But Joe, the Democrats are socialists. Fine. If that means that if you get sick, you can go to a fucking hospital and get help and not have to like lose your house over it.
Right.
Great. If that means that your kid gets a good quality education and doesn't have to like.
And furthermore, if you're coming here from a foreign country to get cancer treatments for your kid, we're not going to deport you. What? Like, that pisses me off.
Yeah.
I just, every time I think, what more could he do? This is the most horrible thing I've ever heard. How can he do anything worse than
this? And then
this?
he does.
And then, like, the next day, and I'm just like, what?
But be afraid of the socialists.
Right. Oh, yeah, we socialists. We just want everybody to be happy, healthy, and educated, and not, more than the U.S. debt. Like, that's...
Right.
Like him. I don't like what he says. I don't like what he does. But the Democrats are socialist. And I don't think that's good enough. I'm not doing this to save the Republican Party. I'm doing this, George, because I think the country can survive Trump's 4-year tantrum. But you give this guy another 4 years in the White House. Right now, he is, George, literally tweeting us into a recession. He'll tweet us into war.
But as you know, presidents who face a serious primary challenge, Jimmy Carter from Ted Kennedy, George H.W. Bush from Pat Buchanan, hurt him badly in New Hampshire. It tends to weaken them. They tend to lose. Are you prepared to take responsibility if you do well in this for helping elect a Democrat that some of your viewers and listeners will say, oh, socialist?
It doesn't matter. Absolutely. I'm going to do whatever I can. I don't want him to win. The country cannot afford to have him win. If I'm not successful, I'm not voting for him.
What he just said was, vote for me or a Democrat or fucking anybody because we can't have this
win.
guy again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd rather get back to the place, George, where I'm sitting down next to a Democrat member of Congress and we're arguing about capitalism and socialism. We're arguing about ideas. But instead, we're talking about a child in the White House who tweets ugly insults at average Americans every day. We're tired of that. I want to get away from that. I want to get back to the policy.
William Weld has been out there for months not making much of an impact. How can you run a real campaign? Where's the money going to come from? Where are you going to focus?
We're going to focus on Iowa and New Hampshire. We're going to be on TV as much as we can. Again, be brave is our campaign slogan. I believe there are people out there dying to come out, stick their necks out, and say publicly what they believe privately, that this guy is unfit, he's indecent, he's setting a horrible example for millions and millions of American children every day. I think this thing, George, will catch on like wildfire.
And if you're wrong?
If I'm wrong, it was the right fight because somebody had to do this. Again, George, we have somebody in the White House who's not fit to be president. Everybody knows that.
Joe Walsh, thanks for your time this morning.
Wow. Good luck to you, bro. Good luck to you.
Hope you're successful to a point.
Right. Right. I would
and then
love
just hand
to
it
see,
over to one of our
right. If he pulls away enough of the never Trumpers who instead of who would have not voted at all because they can't bring themselves to vote for the Democrat and they can't bring themselves to vote for Trump, who just said, fuck it, I'm not voting. Which I don't think is higher on I don't think that's as big a number on that side of the spectrum. On our side, if your pet person doesn't get to the nomination, then fuck you, I'm gonna write in Bernie fucking Sanders and throw my vote away.
Yeah.
Jill Stein or whatever.
Mickey Mouse.
Yeah.
So stupid.
So this is interesting. It's getting interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. The Democrats are starting to whittle down. Finally. I think we're gonna see more drop out over the next,
Yeah. Well, when is the next debate scheduled?
Yeah. I don't know when.
Okay.
Stand by. Give it a 15-second delay, and Dan will tell us. And while we do that, let me thank our top patrons.
Okay.
I can read these this week.
Oh, okay.
Let's see if you can guess who they are. Well, this will be easy, I guess. Let's see. Part-time patron Russell.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wait, let me check. I'm sorry. Declined patron Russell.
Public slave Russell.
Our greatest patron of all time.
Greatest patron of all time. That has to be Dan.
And that Dan who's nowhere near a hurricane.
What? Oh, man. Oh, shit.
You were wrong.
Who's the greatest patron of all time, John?
John.
That would have been my second choice, but I didn't think...
We have 3 top patrons.
I know. I knew it was going to be Dan or John, but I just figured it was Dan because he's, right on top of everything all the time. Speaking of which, September 12th in the chat.
There you go. I don't know. When do you want to start doing debate coverage on the show? When we're down to how many people?
I think if we wait...
10 is still a lot.
Yeah, I think if we don't wait until at least 5, we're going to just be like, like it has to be... Because still, there's so many that they're not really given enough time to... give thorough answers that actually mean anything.
Right.
To anybody who doesn't...
Is it just a solo 10... single night thing? Because the last time it was 20 and they did 10 on one night and 10 on the other. So yes, I think this is all in one. But what will be good about this, what I like about this, is that you're gonna have Biden, Bernie, and Warren all on the stage together, which you did not have in the last debates. They were split.
And you might never see it again. I don't know.
No.
I'm just.
So they're gonna hold out to
Yeah,
the
I know.
very.
Oh
to
well,
the very
Bernie
end.
ain't going anywhere. Ber-
Right.
oh, Bernie.
Yeah. So I have 5 maybe.
Victoria
That's a
says
good
at least wait until we're
number,
down
right?
to one night. I agree with that.
Yeah.
At least one night. I just wonder, like, if it's 10 in one night, is the content going to even be worth?
Right, because again, like the last time, it was 2 nights, but 10 each night, and that was still, it was just too much.
Too much, yeah.
Yeah.
That's why.
Although there was some good like mudslinging back and forth that happened, some little
Oh my god.
virtual fist fights that broke out. That was pretty good.
I mean, we could always watch it and then decide.
Yeah. I mean,
Like-
I'm gonna watch it either way.
No, I know, but like we could watch it and then decide whether or not we want to break it down.
Yeah.
And then.
We did. I did have an idea. I thought it would be cool to have our son watch once it gets a little closer.
Yeah.
And have him like,
Get a kid's-
really think through it and kind of get a kid's perspective of what he's seeing
Yeah.
without our influence, without us,
Yeah, that
like,
would be.
I'll explain
that'd be
terms
cool.
to you if there's a word
Yeah.
you don't understand or
Right.
whatever. But I just want you to listen to these 4 people talking or whoever,
Yeah.
whatever it is, and tell me what you like about it, tell me what you don't like about it.
I think that would be interesting to listen to because
Yeah.
he really, as young as he is, he has a very adult take on a lot of things.
Yeah.
So I think it would be interesting.
I'm trying to work it out so that I will be on Unapologetics soon, and maybe both of us can do that, depending on what time we end up doing the recording with Brent and Nikki.
Mm-hmm.
We're talking about possibly, because Nikki is like putting the hammer down and not letting Brent record as much as he would record if he could just do it.
Ooh.
That's the story I got. Oh, Nikki.
Nikki.
22440
Hey, yeah,
Sarah,
tell
tell me.
us.
Anyway, so we're talking about, he said, how about the first week in November? And I was like, oh, at a hotel room at Free Flow? We can do that. I'll bring my mobile recorder.
Oh, okay. Oh,
We
that's
can
right.
get
They're gonna
together
be
at
there.
Free Flow and
Oh, that's
record
right.
an episode together.
I was like, we're not
I
going to
think
be
that would be
here, right?
great.
But they're going to be there. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'll be fun.
I think that'd be cool. Speaking of Free Flow,
Oh,
you should be there.
you should be there.
Hey, what's up? I'm Sarah Ray with the atheist community of Polk County. I'm stoked to be the MC for this year's Free Flow, the Free Thought Florida Conference.
Orlando, November 1st, 2nd, and 3rd. The whole weekend is going to be groovy.
I'll be rapping about separation of church and state.
I'll be talking about what might have made America great.
And I will be tripping. No, I will not be doing any tripping.
I'll be talking about the role of science in secular humanism.
Evolution education.
Community organizing and activism.
Transgender equality in America today.
Americans' attitudes toward, wait for it, agnostics.
I'll be giving the skinny on how summer camp can help build a secular community for kids.
Science education here in the Sunshine State.
Black feminism, free thought, and progressive politics.
You can get your groove on at the Friday Night Cocktail Party.
Friday Night Cocktails and Costumes Party, which kicks off the weekend.
We're going to lay down that funky music until we die.
Costumes are optional, but at least some disco will be mandatory.
I personally won't be there unless there's disco.
Join me and hundreds of other science enthusiasts,
atheists,
secular humanists,
heretics,
feminists,
skeptics,
non-believers,
Satanists,
and freaky freethinkers.
Tickets are at freeflow.org. That's freeflo.org.
So do me a solid and register today at freeflow.org.
Catch you on the flip side.
They should let me write these.
Come to Free Flow. We would love to see you. John, you should definitely come to Free Flow.
Dan says, episode name, Hurricane Dorian for president.
Ooh, I like that.
Yeah, sure. Russell asked about the show next week.
That's pretty funny.
And I don't think he asked out of all seriousness. I think he just asked as a reminder to remind us to let you guys know.
There may be a show.
There might
but we don't know when.
Yeah, we're not going to be here on Friday night. We'll be at a Halloween party.
Yeah, I'm looking at the calendar. I didn't take any time off of work for this thing, did I? For any of this?
No.
So maybe Thursday night we'll have to do it.
Okay.
We have a PM cleanup that day. No, maybe.
No, we can't do it. Well.
Wait, no, that's like.
Are you looking at the wrong week?
No, that's like hurricane time frame.
What?
Yeah. Fuck, guys. So, we're looking Tuesday into Wednesday. That's the 3rd into the 4th for hurricane madness. Russell arrives on the 5th.
Maybe.
We have a cleanup that night, and then we have a thing
He might
Saturday.
Not, he said, because they're
no,
slaving
I know, I get
him.
it. I'm just saying, like, that's all
yeah.
the same week, and it just connected in my mind. That's
and
all the
I
same
didn't
week.
adjust that either. He's actually coming on the 6th now, if he comes. Because he's...
Whatever. Anyway, we might have a show. It might be Thursday night.
It might be live. It might be not.
We might not have power.
Well, yeah, that's the other thing. If the storm knocks the power out like it did the last time we got a storm.
Yep. So join the Facebook listener group, and we'll
keep you updated.
Keep you updated when we have signal. We can get online. God, I'm not looking forward to this at all.
Oh my God, Austin, man, all of this stuff is on this calendar. I gotta get. Ugh.
Okay, we're gonna go now. So batten down the hatches, everybody. The hurricanes are coming, and we're not prepared.
I'm going to bed.
We don't want to do this, but we're going to bed.
Go hide.
And yeah.
Good night.
No, this thing's a fucking piece of shit.
Oh my God,
this
seriously?
Brand new computer is a piece of shit. There we go.
There it is.
Okay, batten down the hatches. We may be back next week. We may not be back next week. We don't know. But we love you, and we'll see you. You've been listening to Sarah Talk.
Sarah Talk is made possible by listener support. Visit patreon.com/SarahTalk to become a patron and help keep this program going. Contact Sarah and Company by email at producer@sarahtalk.com or call 224-40-SARAH. That's 224-407-2724. And follow us on social media, facebook.com/SarahTalkRadio and on Twitter @SarahTalkRadio. Sarah Talk is a production of Sarah Austin Media.